Anaconda by Forced Entry. So, usually by the time I'm done transcribing a song, I'm kind of sick of it. That wasn't the case on this go round. I got done transcribing it, I spent the time kind of learning the changes, and then I thought to myself, hey, since you're enjoying the song, spend about a week on it so you just nail it when you record it. Yeah, that didn't happen. A day or so into it, I'm like, it's time to record it. So, so much for patience and perseverance. Sometimes, you just want to crank something out. So, on this song, I had someone suggest to me doing a Force Entry song, and I was like, I was actually thinking about them, and I was like, I want to do Anaconda. So I'm going through my MP3s on my computer, and I can't find it. I'm like, why can't I find it? Because I've archived every CD I had owned in the past to MP3. Well, it turns out I never owned this CD. I basically had the cassette tape. So back in the analog days. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, when CDs first came out, you would look on the back of them and they'd say analog, digital, meaning they were recorded in analog, mixed in analog, and then digital format for the CD. So, this predates that. So tone. When I was listening to the tone, I was like, there's more mids in here than I would normally like to do. It sounds a little muddy, and that could have been one of the uploaded versions of the song I was working off of YouTube as I was transcribing it. And I'm like, I'm going to use kind of one of my death metal tones, and that's going to rock. And it sounded like crap. The death metal tone didn't work. And so I ended up dialing in one of their tones on my pod, and it sounds really good. Sounds kind of like the album. So I'm like, cool. But right before I sat down to kind of do this commentary, I was thinking about it, like, why didn't that tone work? And it was like, I think it didn't work based on something else I've said a few times on some other videos, is guitarists give notes the treatment to their tone, meaning if it sounds good with their tone, then they add more of that treatment in there, be it more muting, be it more vibrato, or whatever it is. Whatever's cutting through with that tone, whatever sounds appealing, they work on it. And so I think this was a case of the guitarist wrote to his tone, and me coming and trying to do some kind of death metal tone on top of it didn't kind of work. So let me look over the riffs here and discuss them. And so starting at the riff at 1 minute 6 seconds to 1 minute 8 seconds. This is a very unique sounding riff, and honestly, I probably didn't pull it off. I think when I originally transcribed it, I was able to get kind of close to it, but being kind of in the middle of the song, to pull it off clean isn't the easiest thing to do. So you're basically borrowing the fifth string, and you're doing a rake upwards with the pick, and you're trying to get a little bit of the flesh of your thumb in there to kind of mute it. And at the same time, as you're pulling upwards, also kind of pull out a semicircle towards the fretboard. So you're starting back towards the bridge, reaching up towards up and towards, and you can almost like doing a pick slide. And that's the closest I could get to generating that guy's noise there. But yeah, I probably didn't pull it off. When I looked at the playthrough, it quite possibly I just did a slide. What do I want to say about these riffs? I'm looking through them, and if something stands out, I will discuss it. Solo. I couldn't tell what he was doing on part of that, so I kind of just did my own little version, a little bit simpler. And on an aside is, I find that if they've got some kind of vibrato tone or notes kind of in the beginning, towards the end of a solo, nail those, and it almost kind of mentally, your mind goes, he did close enough on the stuff where he wasn't that close. So the parts of the solos that are iconic, stand out, core to the section of that song. If you can get those, and you kind of just do something somewhat similar on the other stuff, you're probably going to be able to pull it off. Going through and I think that's about it. So I feel like there should be something else I should say about this band. I had the cassette tape in 1989 roughly, and they rocked it. And something that comes to mind about how good this song is if I didn't have it on MP3, yet I remembered that the song kicked butt. When was the last time I had listened to it? I don't know, but it was seared in my brain. It was like, this is a good song, and so hunted it out. And hey, I was also able to find it on Apple iTunes and download it. So if you want a good version of the song, it's there. Hope you guys enjoy it. Peace out.